Longtime viewers of the channel will know I am a huge fan of the Skink bros. Skink chiefs on foot are one of the cheapest heroes you can possibly take in the game, and in this new kind of weird footlord meta that we may potentially be getting into, because they are faster than most foot characters and they have poison missiles to poison those that are just that bit faster than them, they can potentially do some good work shooting at said foot characters. Bretonnia against Lizardmen is one situation where you might see them, and specifically this is a little bit of a meme build, but it's pretty fun. We've got the lads ready to party. Henri brought his GF too, the Prophetess of Life. We've got the Grail Relic, of course, and Gotrek out for a good time. And yeah, we've got some Grail Knights as well, currently getting lit up by the Solar Engine, bunch of Trebuchets, Peasant Bowmen, and lots of Peasant Mobs, of course. And I believe there's one more unit of Cav hanging around here somewhere. But anyway, I've got a whole staunch line of Saurus Spears. Got a little bit of an AP buff in the last patch. We'll see how that does them here. Bunch of Javelin cohorts for Chameleon Skinks. High Salon, just absolutely token over here. 2 Skink Chief Bros. And yeah, that's basically it. Pretty much just a full stack of lizards, more or less. We're going to be getting things started with the Saurus, just moving up in a wave as they do. Nice surfing Saurus. And the Chameleon Skinks are going to maneuver out to the side and then promptly be forgotten about, but that's fine. They'll come in handy later. Definitely going into a tactical, quote-unquote, reserve. Oh yeah, here's the other Cav unit. Another Grail Knight over on the far side, getting shreked by Saurus Spears. They're doing some pretty good damage in return, but because of the blinded effect there, debuffing their melee attack and defense, they are getting hit pretty hard, and of course the Solar Engine does pretty decent damage against Grail Knights. They don't have the most armor in the world. Here in the main fight, you can see that the lads are just kind of getting bogged up in a bunch of Skinks and Saurus. These Skinks are actually probably not going to be great in this fight. Ooh, man, brutal shots from the Trebuchets. Definitely need to shut those down. They're getting some pretty good value right now. Probably doing a little bit of friendly fire as well, but Legion of Chocolates getting pretty beat up. The Hyson kind of just hangs around here, thankfully. Because of the poison missiles on the Skink Chiefs, I don't really have to worry about Gotrek or Henri catching up, because again, with those poison missiles, we can just keep them in place, right? Skink Javs pull back, and we're going to just lock onto the Prophetess here. Wish her a happy Javelin Day. She's up on this horse here, so she'll be a little bit of a bigger target. And she just gets lit up. Look at that, just full-on multi-javelin to the face. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, what is happening? Just drops all the rocks to bail herself out of the Saurus there. It actually does rout the Saurus, but she just gets pin-cushioned by javelins. Just absolutely shredded, down below 300 HP, so she's likely not to come back there. Skink Chiefs can now switch over to Gotrek's going to be the best target. No armor, a little bit of physical and missile resistance, but Guardian obviously there from Henri helping out a bit. We can still get some decent fire on him though. Solar Engine also been getting decent value this whole time, and right about now I think is when I remembered I have these Chameleon Skinks, or maybe not quite yet, but eventually we're going to move them up and just kind of clean this whole flank with them, more or less. Solar Engine, just such a good unit, honestly. Best monster artillery in the game, purely for that blinded debuff, but also pretty good damage too. The accuracy, a lot of people say it's terrible. I think they gave it a slight accuracy nerf even in this last patch, but still very effective against cavalry units, certainly. Kind of wide area that they take up means that the Solar Engine's lack of accuracy is not so much of an issue. We'll see shooting at these characters here. I've mistargeted it onto the Grail Relic, which is not... It should be shooting Gotrek, honestly, or Henri. This is exactly what I was talking about. These Skink Chief Bros, they're faster than most other Footlords, and they have poison, so they can just continue running. This is basically going to be the name of the game from here on out. Just cue the Benny Hill music. You see a few Grail Knights here getting torn up by the Saurus Spears and routed off there. The little Skink Bro, he's just stalking and shooting. Scooting and shooting, keeping that blow pipe running, and he's got plenty of ammunition too, so he's not going to run out anytime soon. Still 60 ammo left on foot. That's another big benefit, is you keep these guys operating, they'll shoot all day in a long battle in particular. I've managed to pull a pretty good lead on the balance of power here. You can see the Chameleon Skinks did move up, even with their missile resistance, getting focused especially by the Trebuchets, but the Peasant Bowmen also. going to rout a few of them off, but it's all good if we take care of this leadership core. They are just peasant bowmen after all. We'll be able to terrify them relatively easily with the Bastillon in the late game. That is, if they even get to the late game. With these two heroes getting continuously kited and peppered by these rude skink bros, they, yeah, they're not going to last too long. Another benefit, too, is with this kind of quote-unquote naked kit here, the Skink Chief still does have Cold-Blooded, which is just awesome. That extra leadership and the rampage stopping, especially if you're going with a lot of feral monsters. Feral Stegodons, feral Carnosaurs, feral Bastillodons, all very good, to be honest. And that extra Cold-Blooded can help keep them under control and in the fight. Even with Saurus units as well, of course. But, yeah. It's nice, cheap single entities. Gotrek does get a little bit of healing there. See if that is able to benefit him. Our Aura of Pretzels, and I believe we also had thrown a... yeah, I believe it ran out already, but a Hand of Glory on these guys as well, so they could fight Henri. I'm going to go ahead and banish Gotrek and the Skink Chief just to show him what's what. Gotrek actually, and this does go to show how there is a pretty big difference now in certain foot characters and how easily they can get knocked down. This Skink bro, once he does get caught, especially by that banishment, it's just getting consistently knocked down. Now Gotrek, ooh, one hit knocks him down again. And at this point, the Skink bro is going to have a hard time because he's just getting stagger locked. If he can get away, he should be okay. Gotrek, I mean, again, even as tired as they both are, Skink Chief is still faster. I think he just got straight up routed, though. Just got crumped. Yeah, just got straight up crumped. So he'll be fine. All that's left is Gotrek, so we'll give him an honorable death fighting a horde of skinks. Or, you know, the other Skink bro will come in to avenge his brother in melee. And, yeah, we're also going to toss him some buffs. Yeah, Hand of Glory, Shield of the Old Ones. It's up to 57 melee attacks, so might actually get a hit in on Gotrek or two. Gotrek did pop his Gotrek's Doom there, so maybe not. And again, this poor Skink bro just gets bullied. He's a very light, squishy boy, to be honest, but they're so cheap, it's very, very easy to pay for themselves. We'll look at the damage valuation in the end, but a little bit of apotheosis just to heal him up, make sure he's able to get away there. And the Bastillon comes in and finishes Gotrek. So there you go. Victory for the Lizardmen. And yeah, these basically vanilla builds are very strong. Like, you could straight up change Legion of Chaco out for either Temple Guard or another Saurus Spear, maybe take an extra cohort or something. Very good. Very, very good. It's interesting to me that the Lizardmen builds, I mean, their vanilla units are just so strong. With the Solar Engine here, great damage value, plus the Blinded debuff is excellent. Chameleon Skinks, despite the fact I forgot about them for a lot of the battle, still able to get some value there. The Javelins, though, especially these two, well, this one here that came in the side cleaned up some artillery crews and stuff, and then these two in the center that just wished the prophetess happy Javelin Day, gave her massive Christmas presents fully to the face, and that's great value there. Saurus Spears actually didn't really pay for themselves, but they tanked damage, didn't pay for themselves in terms of damage value, but check out these Skink bros. Considering these guys are, again, 350 points, we'll take a look at that in just a second. 643 damage value and 926. Doesn't seem like a lot. They didn't get much kills, but really just focusing on these characters, and, you know, because the way I need to do some more testing, but the way it seems in some matchups now, like, foot characters are legitimately dangerous to certain types of dinos. If you have to fight them, I mean, you can still probably kill their whole army and just, you know, single them out in the late game, but having these two super cheap Skink bros, especially against a lower armor single entity like Gotrek specifically, they are quite strong. High Salon didn't really have to do much, just chilling back, you know, Token doing his thing. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about the Skink Chief bros. What really makes them, I mean, in campaign, they're kind of an assassin-type hero, right? And they do have some interesting mount choices. But in my opinion, what makes them so good is the fact that you can take them so ridiculously cheap. So if we go ahead and take a look here at the Lizardmen, there's a few other heroes in the game that you can really take this cheap. One of the other few, which is kind of a different hero type, generic melee hero, Empire Captain. I mean, he's pretty much the only one I can think of that comes in at this price. Maybe like the Goblin War Boss is that cheap as well. Let's see. Actually, don't remember. Oh yeah, potentially even cheaper. Okay, so he's not the actual cheapest hero in the game, but considering that he's a fast missile hero with poison missiles in particular, it's quite nice, and that missile DPS is pretty good. I mean, 400 missile DPS over 10 seconds doesn't do that much damage per shot, but a great reload rate means you can consistently keep poison on basically any unit. He can take the Pterodon mount for only 450, makes him 800 points, basically like a single entity Pterodon, so that is pretty beneficial as well. This guy used to have, I think, like 100 ammo or something ridiculous when Total War Warhammer 2 first came out, but he's still pretty good, honestly, and especially on foot. Only 350 points is just awesome. Absolutely awesome. So the thing you'll notice, and this is one benefit of having this damage valuation kind of scheme built in, is the cheap units, especially cheap ranged units, it's really not super hard for them to pay for themselves if they get the right target to shoot at. And in particular, like cheap single entity ranged units, which I think this guy might be the only one. I mean, I'm just trying to think of other kind of ranged single entities, and they all are a little bit more expensive from what I can remember. Especially with the poison, it's just such a nice little utility tool. So definitely include the Skink Chief in your Lizardmen builds. Basically, if you have empty hero or single entity slots, you should probably just fill them with these guys. They're just great to have in general in basically every situation. So there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell, all that jazz. We'll see you next time.